to our December 3rd, 2019 Wayne County Board of Commissioners briefing. Invocation will be Mr. Cromartie. Pledge of allegiance, Mr. Aycock. And then we'll go to the organization of elections of chair and vice chair. And we'll recess for seating purposes, and then we'll reconvene. Mr. Honeycutt, will you take over from there?
Yes, sir. Then we have approval of minutes for November 19th, 2019, and discussion and adjustment of agenda. With the board's approval, we do have one walk-on, which would be to set a public hearing for December 17th for proposed economic incentives for Project Nest. So I hope you saw the email yesterday. We finally do have a date when the governor will be in town to formally announce it, but we have to set a public hearing for formalizing the incentives.
Would that be number 3?
Yeah. Oh,
New business.
New business,
yes,
number
sir.
3?
Yes, sir. Oh, but as Borden just pointed out, it'll be Secretary Copeland that'll be here, not the governor.
That's good. I didn't remember the governor calling me and see if I was available at that time.
So, but at this point, there's no further adjustments from staff for the agenda. If there's any adjustments from the board. Okay. Then we'll have public comments. Then we do have an appointment committee.
Yes, we do.
And consent agenda. Number 1 is application for elderly or disabled exclusion. And that is on page 17 through 18. And they've been reviewed by staff and recommended. Number 2 is applications for disabled veteran exclusion on pages 19 and 22. And they've been reviewed and recommended by staff for approval. And then number 3 is budget amendments.
Okay. Budget amendment beginning on page 23. First budget amendment is for the Social Services Department. You're requesting to transfer $85,000 from the general fund balance appropriated to pay the remaining balance on CC Trail billing to WCDA. Social Services requesting to reallocate $20,000 from their regular salaries and wages line item to overtime. Overtime is needed to meet deadlines and goals that are defined in the MOU that we have with the state. For Services on Aging, requesting to adjust the funds budgeted for their grant from Health Promotions. The total was $722. There are 2 for the Jetport, numbers 208 and 209. These are basically a reallocation of funds for projects that were already existing. One is for the corporate hangar project. The other is for the perimeter fence. And we are, in both of these budget amendments, allocating funds that are part of the MPU funds, which is federal. It's like a federal pot of money that we receive. And we're just basically setting aside those funds to support the expenditures for these projects that were set up. IT, we are requesting to reallocate funds from security supplies to capital outlay. This was a purchase that was already in the existing budget but needed to be capitalized in our fixed assets, so we're moving it to a capital line item. The last budget amendment I have for you is for the Sheriff's Office, specifically the detention center, requesting to appropriate fund balance in the amount of $90,000. This is due to a shortfall that we're experiencing in the inmate medical supplies line item. We are required to pay the bills. We have the liability to pay the bills for the inmates when they are in our care. And county does urge the DA to get these cases resolved as quickly as possible, so that it's the least expensive to us. But some of those things we cannot avoid, so we're experiencing a budget shortfall and ask that we have additional funds budgeted.
Sure. I asked this question for General contract was in with this group that we've got now. Did we ever determine what that was?
We've been in contact with the sheriff and asked that question, and we've told him that the board's wishes to look at bidding that out for
It's
the
not
next.
criticism of their services, but I just think the contract.
Right. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What period does this cover?
90,000.
I'm sorry,
What period does this cover? How much time?
the 90,000?
Yeah.
That's to cover us through the rest of the fiscal year. The original budget was around $60,000. We've already spent 46 to date, and they have outstanding bills in the amount of at least 23,000, but they have a monthly bill that comes in on top of that.
I got a question too, ma'am. I don't mean to be opening a can of worms. Was this particular item, we cut everybody's budget some. This was not an item that we cut funds out of when we were doing the budget, is it?
I'm not sure, I'll have to look that up.
I don't think we did.
I doubt we did
Yeah.
because we had to add funds to it last year. So that doesn't ring a bell right offhand, but I can check that.
Well, I just want to make sure that we defended the sheriff's original budget. If it was one that was cut, that might be the reason we haven't add back on.
And that's all the budget amendments I have for you today.
Okay, if there are no additional questions at this time. Number 4, motion to approve the final subdivision plat for Highland Park as recommended by the Wayne County Planning Board, and Barry Gray is here.
This is a final subdivision plat for Highland Park. The number of lots is 39, and this is on 37 acres. It's located on Church of God Road. If you're familiar with North Landing subdivision, it's actually right across the street from that. The average lot size is 27,561 square feet. All the improvements have been completed. They have received their built standards letter from DOT. So all is in order with this subdivision. The planning board has reviewed and recommended approval of Highland Park. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.
Number 5 is motion to approve a memorandum of understanding between the Wayne County Firefighters Association and the County of Wayne. And this is with respect to the fire training facility located at the Jetport. Our last lease ran out December 31st, 2017. We really it's been kind of a handshake and word of mouth since then, since there's been no changes. But it's my understanding they're planning to put about $20,000 worth of improvements on the site, and they wanted something a little bit more formal in writing so that they would kind of protect their investment so that we would not be using that property anytime soon. Wayne, is that fair to say?
That's correct, yes. And the facility is being used more than it used to be used.
It is, yes, sir. Number 6, motion to adopt resolution 2019-35, resolution declaring surplus property at 225 Franklin Street, Mount Olive, North Carolina, real property, and authorizing a sale. And I'll turn that to Andrew.
Good morning. This is a foreclosure sale. We've had a lot of offers recently. This particular property is owned with the county and the town of Mount Olive. The tax value is $4,700, and the offer to purchase right now is $3,000. I've reached out to the town of Mount Olive. They hadn't had any offers, and quite frankly, this is higher than anything that they've entertained in the town. So if you approve it today, we'd go ahead and advertise it in the paper for upset bids, and then once it's been approved, we would send it to Mount Olive at their next meeting for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Motion number 7, motion to adopt Resolution 2019-38, resolution granting permission for a fireworks display at Mount Olive Pickle Company, 1 Cucumber Boulevard, Mount Olive, North Carolina, on December 31st, 2019, at 7 p.m. to Hell Artificier Fireworks.
And one quick note, Lynn Williams sent a message that it's not actually going to be at Mount Olive Pickle Company this year. It'll be at the University of Mount Olive. So everything's the same. It's just going to be at the University of Mount Olive.
Number 8, motion to award bid for RFB 2019 EMS remount to Atlantic Emergency Solutions, and the bid tabulation is on page 64. Some questions? And again, these were that was a budgeted item. We're just asking you to approve the bid. Motion number 9. Motion to award bid for engineering services related to hazard mitigation grant program development block grant disaster recovery. And this is to allow us to approve that bid as well as part of the CDBG process.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Manager, is it worthy to tell us a little bit about that? I know we're approving of engineering service, but
The projects that we have that are, there are a bunch of different projects that are part of the grant, and we have to have them engineered, and this is approving the engineering firm to do that design work for us.
all right, thank you.
So anytime we spend the federal funds, it has to be engineered, from the CDBG, it has to be designed and stamped. So we went out for bid and recommended the engineers.
And that's related to the resolution on page 6 to 7?
No, sir.
That's something
separate.
different?
That's separate, yes, sir. Yeah, the resolution under new business.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
on my inquiry, who's paying for those engineering services? Does it
The
come
grant.
out of the grant? Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just
Yeah,
wanted to-
it's not county dollars. It's grant. But the new business, what Commissioner Cromartie mentioned, number 1, motion to adopt Resolution 2019-36, resolution requesting the addition of flood-impacted properties to the HMGP 4285-057 acquisition project. This is what was requested by the Board of Commissioners at our last meeting after Dave Harris mentioned that many property owners have dropped out of the program, and we're asking that other properties that were not originally included be added to the program. Okay. And then number 2, motion to adopt Resolution 2019-37, a resolution to place a 1/4 of 1 cent local option sales tax on the March 2020 primary in Wayne County, North Carolina. And again, this was recommended to us by the Wayne County Public School System. And I'll read the resolution once we do the regular meeting. And then we'll have county managers Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Board. Number 3 is setting up the public hearing for Project Nest for December 17th at 9:30 a.m. And that's for the incentives for the economic development. And then there'll be county manager's comments, Board of Commissioners committee reports and comments, closed session, and then adjournment.
That's good.
Mr. Chairman, we do have the tax appeal at 8:30 that will have to be taken care of. We have a few minutes if you want to recess for a moment, but we probably don't have the time for
Mr. Chairman. Mr. County Manager, what time did you say the Project Nest?
The 9:30 or 8:30.
10:30?
No, that's the public hearing. We will have the public presentation at the site, but we still have to have a public hearing on the incentives in 2 weeks at our commissioners' meetings.
Okay. I like clicking one time.
Yeah.
I missed that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Chairman, so if I'm understanding, we're actually going to have the presentation before we have the public hearing and approving the incentives?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, the public announcement will be held first, and it just
That'll be
the
on
way.
the 10th.
Yes, sir. That just the way the timing worked out, and waiting on the state to make the announcement. They came first, but everything that they do is contingent upon what we do with the public hearing.
Okay.
Carol, when you get time, pull it up on your calendar, because it's a little bit misleading the way it's on here.
take a look at that, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
What might be misleading is on one Tuesday is the actual public announcement, and then the following Tuesday will be the public hearing during our regular Board of Commissioner meeting. So you've got 2 different Tuesdays involved.
And what's the date of the public hearing?
The 17th
The 17th will be the public
10th.
at 9:30.
Okay.
is the announcement at the site.
That's on the 10th at 10:30. So you've got 2 different dates going on.
I'm still confused. Mine says Project Nest, you got your pre-agenda meeting from 9 to 11, and then you got Project Nest from 10:30 to 11:30
Yes, sir.
on the 10th.
Yes, sir. On the 10th, we typically block out that amount of time for the agenda hearing, the agenda meeting, rather. But we'll have to cut it short that day because the other event has come up.
Okay, all right.
And so that, I can see why that would be confusing, but one is simply a recurring entry.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we just got notification yesterday about the state coming down. Short recess.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were recessing already.
Yeah, I thought we were too.
I've
already gone to recess.
We can talk about your lovely miniature billboards if you'd like.
Well, that's a good point.
When do we get the train, when do we get the train set to go with it?
We're working on that. No, I want to thank Joel for getting those for me so that we could present them to you, because it's a campaign that we're really proud of, and we want you to have something that commemorated.
So I'll be able to take this to Sawson so that I'll know I'm at home.
Pardon?
I'll be able to take this to Sawson so I'll know I'll be at home.
That's exactly right. In case you ever get
I am
lost.
getting old, that way I can answer, oh, I'm at home.
Thank you. Thank Joel. Thank the whole crew.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
I mean, I've seen it on TV several times.
Yeah.
It's done well.
And I'm really excited, since we're just filling time here, to tell you that the Public Affairs Department will be filming and participating in the Christmas parade, but we will also be streaming it live on Channel 10, YouTube, and social media. And we'll have the chamber MCs with us, and we're going to do this as close to a big professional parade as you've seen on TV. And so anybody that's unable to get out and participate or be at the parade can actually watch it on, there'll be several different ways that they can see it. So we're really excited to be able to present it live for the first time.
We don't really want you getting them trained that good, so some big company like Fox or CBS or somebody come in here and hire them now.
I'm very happy right where I am.
Is Papa going to reschedule there?
I don't think so.
But that would have been actually cleared out.
Yeah.
It was messy early though. I had my ring niggas there at the house.
Property tax appeal by Verizon.
While we got 30 seconds, do Reese Cross America, have you got the times? I understand they're going to do Evergreen and
Yes,
the
sir.
state.
I did receive an email this morning. I haven't had time to forward that or get it on the calendar just yet, but it is the 14th. And it's my understanding that there'll be two different ceremonies that day, but it is
Well,
on,
I understand it's going to be, what, at 10 and 2?
tell you what, let me
They'll
pull it
visit
up and I'll tell you real
Evergreen
quick.
first, and then they'll go to the Veterans Cemetery.
Well, I'm going to stick a third one in if there's 10 and 2.
I will.
So it will be Saturday the 14th with the Veterans Cemetery gathering at 10 o'clock, program at 11. Then Evergreen, the gathering is at 1 with the ceremony or program at 2. So basically 11 at the Veterans Cemetery and 2.
Are you sure? That's usually you do Evergreen first. Normally Evergreen's first.
This is what Mr. Graham sent me.
I'm gonna check with Bill on that.
And Sheriff, they've also requested you to be there, he said. Says that both ceremonies are approximately an hour long, and they've requested any staff and the commissioners and the sheriff to attend. And I'll get that on the calendar. And
Okay,
get
stick on there that Pikeville's is at 12 o'clock. Cemetery at Pikeville's at 12 o'clock, and theirs usually lasts about 30 minutes.
By the way, I was gonna say this in my comments later, but I got an email from Bill, and it was about donating money for the wreaths. And you can actually go on their site and, donate your dollars to put the wreaths on the veterans' graves, and they were way, way short right now.
Okay.
And so I donated yesterday myself, so if anybody wants that. And it goes directly to the Patriots Coalition.
Yes,
So
sir.
they can decide which cemetery it goes to.
If you will give us that website or
I'll just forward that email to you.
perfect.
It's got
And
it on
then
there.
we'll make sure that
It'll take you right to it, and it'll push you right to the Patriots Coalition, so it goes to Wayne, it goes in Wayne County, the veterans here.
Fantastic. Wayne, the Pikeville wreath ceremony is at Pikeville Cemetery?
Pikeville Cemetery at 12.
o'clock
Yeah.
on the 14th.
And I try to make the other ones, but I will be at Pikeville. That's where my dad's buried. I will be at Pikeville, and I try to go to the other ones.
Are we ready to get started?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lupton, come forward and lead us into public hearing here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. We had an appeal filed. It's a business personal property appeal filed back. It was filed timely back in when the tax bills were mailed. This appeal is on our depreciation, or it's the valuation of business personal property equipment, which is any kind of equipment used in conjunction with businesses such as machinery equipment, furniture fixtures, computers, any assets held by a business used in their operation. They have to list those for taxation. This property we use the cost approach to value this property, which means we take the original cost and depreciate it per a state schedule that the Department of Revenue sets out that all counties use this depreciation schedule. It's based on the life of the property, whatever equipment it is. They have different lives depending on what equipment it is. We take the original cost, which is reported by the taxpayer, and we depreciate it per the schedule, which gives us the tax value. This is done for all businesses throughout the state. This appeal is based on, this comes from Ryan LLC, which is representing Harris Teeter and PetSmart here in our county. These appeals have been filed statewide on all various locations of these businesses, plus some other ones as well. At this time, I'll ask to see if anybody from Ryan LLC is here to speak. If not, I'll just carry on. We had a very similar appeal based on the same basis a couple years ago filed by Harris Teeter here in Wayne County. That was our value was upheld here at the local level and sent to the Property Tax Commission. Those appeals are still pending. They were the Mecklenburg County, Harris Teeter filed one in Mecklenburg County. That was actually heard by the Property Tax Commission. Property Tax Commission, and when I say the Property Tax Commission, that is the State Board of Equalization Review. They can hear appeals as well. That's the state level. The State Property Tax Commission upheld Mecklenburg County's value and valuation process. It was then appealed to the Court of Appeals. Harris Teeter appealed to the Court of Appeals where it is right now. So this whole situation is a statewide issue that we're waiting on. Once that decision is made at the Court of Appeals, it can be appealed to the Supreme Court if needed, or what if they choose to. But everybody's sort of contingent on waiting to see what happens with that case. That will set a precedent for all these other appeals that are filed statewide. It's our recommendation that we ask you to uphold our value for now, our tax value that we have on the property and our methodology that we did. And then we will notify Ryan. They have the option to proceed to appeal to the State Property Tax Commission. And that's sort of what we're recommending today. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. I also have Amy Lancaster, our business personal property here as well, if you have any questions.
I have to pay my taxes.
Need a motion. Yeah. Can I have a motion on this?
So move.
Motion made. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Al.
Chairman. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Al.
Do we need to go to closed session? Go to closed session, have a motion for that.
To consult with the attorneys, to preserve attorney-client privilege.
All right.
You do know who Harris Teeter Company is, Kroger.